The global war is a war for the access to resources. The war not only to that access, but the usage of those resources. Who uses them matters. And therefore, those that at the helm of power and authority in the globe choose winners and losers. And unfortunately, on this planet that we're living in, they have chosen according to racial lines. And you know which races they have chosen first and which ones they have relegated to the background. The reason why they do so is that they have got a scarcity mindset that says to them that if all global resources are shared equally or more or less shared much more fairly, therefore there will be less for those that are controlling and they think that we might run out of resources. So one way of what they do is they will hoard resources or they attempt to hoard resources by ensuring that the other people are not included. So they run exclusionary policies on global politics. Hence, you will see that there will be countries that are allowed to succeed, even societies that are allowed to succeed, and countries and societies that are not allowed to succeed. Not that there is any society that is better than the other, or there's any people that are better than any other people, but it's just a matter of those that are at the helm of global power decide who must succeed, who must not succeed. If you look at in Africa, in South Africa, white people have been allowed to succeed, and black people have not been allowed to succeed. The more white you have in your blood, the most likelihood you are allowed to succeed. And the more blacker you are, the more likely you are not allowed to succeed. Unless you become part and parcel of a cabal that they choose. Carrying on. So the most likely, the blacker you are, the most likely that actually the blacker you are, not most likely. It's 100% likely that they will choose that you do not succeed. So there's a lot of policies in global politics and in national politics that would ensure that black people do not succeed. For example, being underpaid if you are black and being overpaid if you're white. I mean, I'm a waiter working in a restaurant. If you're black, you get undertipped. If you are white or Muslim or colored or whatever, the more whiter you are in your blood, the customers themselves will tip you more. It's now ingrained in these people, such that white people and other races that believe are white or the near whites, I like to call them near whites. Here in Cape Town, they call them white colors. You know, the more white they are, the more they believe that the blacker people should be oppressed. So they don't need to wait for government policy. They themselves, they are oppressive in their very nature, and they've like joined that group of us versus them mentality. Therefore, the black people carry on participating in industries, working in jobs, thinking that they can impress themselves up the ladder. But let me tell you something: you can never impress this racist system. So that is why it's imperative for Zimbabwe, which is my lifetime battle, to get Zimbabwe working. So that when black people in Zimbabwe are working in a system of a black government, of a black society, when you want to go up the ladder, there is easier access in upward mobility because we are not judging you according to the color of your skin, since in any case the country is black and is designed for black people. That is the glory of God that is coming upon the nation of Zimbabwe. That is what the chiefs in ZANU PF should be getting themselves ready uh, to be in line with. Because if they carry on being in line with the ideology of the global oppressors that chose them as the weaker hands, as the weaker black people who they will use to oppress black people, a time is coming that them, the very same white people or ZANU-PF that put you in power, are the very ones who are going to destroy your global wealth. Because the reason why they let you to become wealthy in the 80s, 90s, 2000s until now, listen very carefully, because I love you and this is a good advice. The reason why they allowed to now was to trap you into their white system. The whole idea was for you black people to be attracted to white systems. That is why ZANU-PF children, they go to European schools. They don't go to schools in Harare or anywhere in Bulawayo, because the schooling system, their white masters make sure that they destroy whether it's a schooling system, education system, health system. You know, most that the ZANU-PF chefs go to China, go to Singapore for treatment, because those white people have made it possible. They have made sure that they destroy their own health systems in Zimbabwe. Them, the blacks in ZANU, think that they've won. But if I'm winner, but if I'm very smart, they're the smarter blacks of all the blacks. They feel like God has chosen them to become the richer chefs who are billionaires who own things. But one thing that I do not know, ZANU-PF, that I'm gonna enlighten you right now, both as a prophet of God and as a political analyst, is for you to recognize that the reason why you were allowed to succeed is not because those white people love you as black people. No, it's because they needed you to be their weapon against the rest of the black people. Once you have done their job for them, they will come after you. Wait until you see when they turn tables around and they begin speaking another different language, and they will begin opening up old files and begin chasing you down the globe. And where are you going to hide? Where are you going to hide your money, or ZANU-PF, when when it is the white people that you bank with? Where are you going to get your health, or ZANU-PF, since you have never developed any black doctors or black health system that you can rely on, but you are relying on their system? They can impose sanctions on you, even on health wise, on access to health, even on access to education. Where are you going to teach your children when you yourself do not develop any education system in your own nation? You do not develop a nation at all, a society at all, but you relied on their societies, on their benevolence, on the benevolence of white privileged high society that ran the globe in order to protect you, whilst you are destroying the black Zimbabweans. When push comes to shove and they really want to push the buttons, they will incite the black people and give them access to places where they will end up rioting against you or doing whatever it is that they can plan against you, while at the same time applying pressure on the international market and banking circles and societies around the world. Your walls will be closed in on you, both at home, because we never took the time and that opportunity and the liberty to build the lives of black people. The black people in Zimbabwe will be saying no to ZANU-PF. We don't want these people anymore. And the global village saying the same thing. On that day, we shall say that the world is a very small place and God is not something to play around with. However, the glory of God, who loves you, even though your sins are as red as crimson, he says he can make them as white as wool. Even then, when there is no way out, when they seem like there's no salvation, the Jesus of salvation is able to save you out of it. Therefore, I am coming and invoking and imploring you, therefore, in this juncture, ZANU-PF, that it is time for you to consider your ways, to consider how you are planning, because God shows me that down, you sit down on meetings. Let's do this. All right, we're gonna finish in the dark. I'm gonna bring this to a close anyway, and say that you sit down in you sit down meetings trying to figure out what you're going to do, how you are going to get out of this quagmire. Now here's the thing: you really need to consider actually developing your own communities, developing your own people, because that is the only place that is going to be there for you to hide. Otherwise, if you do not do that, there will be no place to hide. No matter how many uh, committee meetings, how many meetings you hold, trying to figure out how you're going to play out 2023, how the pre-election and post-election society is going to be like in Zimbabwe, how you're going to manage the people's expectations, the court judicial system, all of those things. A time is going to come when it will not matter, because walls are going to be closing in and wars are coming towards you. Therefore, take it.